So, things that we're going to cover today is we're going to take a look at the sales process overview, just kind of talk about what it looks like for a typical sales team and kind of relevant why Copilot or Power Platform or Power Automate could help your sales team. We'll take a look at one of my favorite new functionalities, the custom Chat GPT prompt. And then, of course, what is a true presentation without a quick demo? So we'll take a look at that as well. And I'm going to fly through things so that we get through everything in 10 minutes. A quick overview about me. You can go ahead and scan the QR code if you're not already connected with me on LinkedIn. I sure would love to be part of your network. My name is Mary Myers, and I'm absolutely obsessed with maximizing dynamics or really anything with the Power Platform. I have been in this space since 2018, and I like to say that I'm by the people, for the people. I really got started in a user group forum, got into Power Platform in a day, and it absolutely changed my life. And not only do I absolutely love building solutions for customers, but one thing I'm super passionate about is sharing this knowledge with others. So I would love to connect with everyone. Okay, enough about me. Moving on to more exciting things. All right, so this is what I would say, is a typical sales process. Now, I've been in sales before. I was in, tech. I've held many different roles. And even now, right, I'm a small business owner, which means I wear all the hats and I have to do all the things, including, being in sales. So this is something I use in my own company as well. So typically when we're looking at a lead, right, and at the end of the day, as a company, we need sales to come in. That process typically starts with a lead. What's really common in today is to have these leads coming from online, and that is what we're looking at here in our top left-hand side with our kind of web incoming. Now there's a bunch of different ways that we take those leads in, but basically that lead comes in, and then our team is tasked to go ahead and take a look at that lead, research it, and identify, is this worth our time or not, right? Like we have to qualify that lead, and that's often kind of an arbitrary process, right? Like what I consider a qualified lead, Shane or David may not consider like a same qualified lead. And so I think that consistency coming through can sometimes suffer as a result. The next thing that we have to do is we then have to make sure that we capture that lead in our CRM. And I'm sure that all 301 people on this call here are super, super diligent in their everyday components of capturing everything they need to in a CRM. If that's part of their job, that's everyone's favorite thing to do, right? Is to make sure we capture all of our details in CRM. And then, if we've decided that it was a good lead, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk with that customer, get on a sales call with them. We're going to wait for their decision. And then if we're really lucky, we're going to go ahead and actually earn some money off of that, right? We're going to win that deal after they've decided yes. So that's a lot of words. That's our typical sales process, right? And that's just if we have one lead. But really, the whole goal of things is to make our lead process, right? We don't want one, we want many leads. So then that takes that already kind of complex, or maybe not complex, but just sometimes manual and time-consuming process, and really exponentially, takes the time and really makes it chaos here, right? That's what we're looking at on this screen. And that's what kind of represents if we have a bunch of leads coming in, we still just have one person maybe, right? Or in my team, we just have one person that's going to qualify those sales teams. But it doesn't mean that you necessarily are increasing the number of headcount that you have in your sales team just because your leads increase, right? But you're still going to have to research and qualify those number of leads. You're going to have to get all of those entered into your CRM system, right? Speak with all those customers and just kind of keep going on through that process. So it takes it, and it's just a lot more time consuming. And at the end of the day, that's going to really affect sometimes the number of leads that you're actually able to turn into sales. In the US market, at least, like we're super impatient. And the quickest way to win a lead is efficiency and being super quick to respond, right? That's one of the things that I really look for in my company when I'm working with other companies, and also like what I like to provide for my customers. So that's always top of mind for me. What we can do though, right, is we can add the Power Platform. And of course, life is better. That's what we already know. And really what we're going to take a look at here is how we can use a custom GPT prompt to create, to modify that research and qualification, right? So let's use Copilot to qualify the lead. Let's automate our incoming lead process. Let's use Copilot to qualify that lead. Let's automatically get that entered into our CRM so that we're just getting to the part where we're talking to the customer and getting to that decision point, right? So we're eliminating a lot of the different steps here. Sound like a good plan? All right, let's jump into it. And so one of the things that I really want to take a look at here for the Power Platform is custom prompts in AI Builder. Go ahead. I would love to just see like a reaction. Give me a thumbs up or like a heart if you've used custom prompts in AI Builder yet. No. Okay. I see some people coming through. If you haven't checked them out, they're super easy. Again, I'll show you where they're at, but basically you're going to create a prompt in this top box here. And it's going to just be like if you're using Copilot or anything else, just a typical prompt. And then you can actually automate this process. This is saying, hey, I want to take this prompt and repeat it over and over and over again. So for me, what I'll show you a demonstration of is how I have a sales prompt and saying, hey, go ahead and qualify. Now, over on the right-hand side here, what we'll see is, I don't think I have a pointer, so you guys are just going to have to follow my navigation for now. On the right-hand side under prompt settings, we see where it says input and data and these different components. So I'm just going to jump to my demo because I see that we're running late or kind of quick on time. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got 3 minutes. I'm going to go super quickly. This is the form, right? It's just a Microsoft form. And basically this is simulating where data intake is coming from. I love using Microsoft Forms because we can use it from so many different places, but you can use anything, right? And then what happens is I'll show you my flow. We'll kind of cheat here. I have this flow that is set up to look at whenever a response is submitted. And then I have this create GPT prompt here. So what I can do is I can actually edit this. When I edit this, this is going to show you that same screen that whenever it loads here, love live demos. When this screen loads, what it's going to show is where it's showing that picture in the PowerPoint of what that prompt looks like. This is here. Ta-da, it's like right on time. This is me filling out that prompt. I just entered this in here, right? Act as a salesperson and evaluate the customer needs. Customer needs. This is an input. That Microsoft form allows me to essentially dynamically control what somebody's putting in there. So what they're telling me they're needing, I'm saying, hey, take what they're telling me that they need and compare that to what the services are that we offer. That's all this flow is. And then I'm saying, hey, why don't you also go ahead and rank that flow? So therefore, we're putting some more structure into that. Before where we had like maybe I qualified something as a super hot lead and Shane qualified it as like maybe not that important, right? So that's kind of systemizing that. And then I have had this going for quite some time. And so I used to tell it to also give it to me in a JSON response. But what was so exciting actually when I looked at this to get ready for this, I saw that we now have different output options. So I can actually modify and tell it what JSON prompt I want, or like what JSON response I want it to give me, which is super important when we want to use it in Power Automate, right? Because I'm passing the data from this through and I need it to be consistent. So let me just kind of scroll in and scoop down here really quick, right? So this is just taking the output of that. Then I parse this out, right? And that's why we need to know what that JSON structure is so that I can have a consistent parse. Otherwise, this flow would, fault if it gave us a property that we didn't have. All I'm doing here in this is just a switch statement, and I'm taking a look at that validation score where I said, hey, what's that customer rating? And then I'm setting a number, and I'll show you why in a second. But the first thing that I do is I just have this add a new lead into my CRM. And so I'm capturing information from that form and then also from what Chat GPT or what the Copilot said for me to do. And then so this condition right here says that basically if we decided if that customer rating said that it was hot, that it would go ahead and give me a Teams notification as well. So I ran this flow and let me go back just 2 seconds, and then I'll call it quits here, but just so that you can see kind of how this looked. So we ran this flow. It got the response details, which I'm sure many of us are used to. Then I had this prompt, and it went ahead and read this out. If I read this show outputs, you can see here, right? These are the different outputs. The customer rating was 4, which meant that that was like a hot lead. And so because it was that, right, it went ahead and set here for 4, which meant that it was a hot lead, 4 or 5 or that. It added this new one. I always use Taylor Swift because I'm obsessed. So she was the person that I put in my lead here. We can see that it adds in here some different stuff. I'll show you that output in a second. And so then here, right, I just have this information that we put in. And then under details, I have the description. I didn't have to enter any of that in. And then I also had a Teams notification. So that's a great way that I think that you can use Copilot and Power Automate to help your sales team get by easier. So with that, I will hand it off to the next amazing presenter. Thanks so much.